Hello, everyone. Welcome to Counterpoint Conversation. Today, we are joined by Ruben Castano, who is Head of Design and Experience at Motorola Mobility. Welcome, Ruben.
Thank you for having me.
Great event today here at India. Like Motorola, you have launched Motorola Edge 50 Pro here. I think it has been a year since we met, uh, since the previous launch with the Flip and the Folds. Motorola has come a long way. In the initial presentation, what Motorola has showcased, your global growth has been like significant over the past a couple of years, and one part of being is the devices that you have introduced, especially on the premium side of things. Even during today's launch, there was a lot of focus on the differentiated design language that you guys have introduced in your flagships, or even diffusing towards some of the mid tiers as well.
That's right.
Would you like to walk us through about your experience of working on these devices and how you see the CMF as a differentiating factor going forward in devices?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. That's my area of expertise in a way. Um, we are on part of our strategic initiative to grow our brands. Is in fact to transform what we do and our brand into more of a lifestyle brand. And what does it mean to be a lifestyle brand? It means that consumers can see themselves represented in the products that they buy from us and how they look and how they feel. And so if you keep going down different layers, that's where the actual look and feel of the device becomes so important. And so taking that into account, we decided for 2024 to roll out a completely new design language, which, as you can see on the device that we're introducing today, the Edge 50 Pro, is really characterized by a few elements. First and foremost, the device has to look and feel great in your hand.
Right.
The basic ergonomics, the size, how comfortable it is, and so on. Those are basic things that we have always cared a lot about at Motorola, and the new line is no exception. But we took it a step further. Obviously, we are introducing a new design for the rear of the product. All our products you will see will have the camera kind of pushed to the corner of the device, and then integrating the camera in a very elegant way. So we did that on purpose, and we did it as a result of a global research. What we and my team was interested in understanding was, how do we make sure that when a potential Motorola consumer will buy a device from us, he already feels a certain level of connection, of attraction. And so for us, it was very important to find a design that was, I can summarize it as genderless and ageless.
Interesting.
We also didn't want our products to be overly techy. A lot of manufacturers, a lot of phones that you see out there, actually, when you look at the camera, it feels like it's been designed for men, for engineers, for just that specific segment, because they want to scream and shout technology. Well, we also want to communicate that we have very good technology in our devices, but again, we want to appeal to the broadest possible segments that are out there, gender and age. And we used global research to get to this answer that actually told us this is the right way to go. But we went further. We also asked consumers, well, even if you can't take pictures or videos with this product, does it give you the impression that it's a good performing camera system? And so those answers also gave us, direction of how to design our future products. And then last but not least, I'm sorry I'm expanding a little bit on the answer, but it's a long one.
Yeah.
Color, material, and finish, extremely important. We are already for a few years, but we will continue, and the Edge 50 Pro is no exception, embracing materials like vegan leather.
Right.
Why? Because they simply provide tactility, they don't fingerprint, they complement that ergonomics of the device, that it looks and feels great, but also doesn't feel slippery, and provides that sensorial feeling when you hold it in your hand. And beyond vegan leather on this device, we're extremely happy to introduce this new pearl finish, as we call it, which is actually another one of our strategic partnerships with a brand in Italy called Mazzucchelli.
Okay.
They are a high-end fashion brand that creates this same material for the eyewear that you see on super high-end eyewear out there. And so this is the first implementation of that type of material into a smartphone. It also makes it look great. It doesn't fingerprint. It kind of continues with the same characteristics that we have on vegan leather as well.
Super. And it's a very interesting approach what Motorola is taking. Like you said, we were discussing very is not very heavy on the numbers. Like normally we talk about like numbers about what's on the camera, battery, display, number. So we are going beyond that. It's more differentiated experiences like you mentioned. And very interesting thing you mentioned about the ageless and the genderless, because normally when we think, okay, if a brand is going for colors, it might be targeting about a specific set of gender, but what you mentioned, it is across. Like, and I think one of the presentation we saw that Motorola's age group is across. It's not just segmenting only to one section of the audience. On the CMF side, color, material, and finish, we do regular surveys at Counterpoint Research. And what we have recently seen is CMF is now contributing to almost like 33% in terms of decision making for the consumer, and it's going to be a very important factor when consumer picks a device, because they want those devices to be a reflection of themselves. So our question is, when it comes to like for example reaching out to the more audience, for example in India you have a partnership with Flipkart. It's more like a channel strategy. How you guys are looking at to expand going forward so that you have these devices, at least some of the users can try before they are going to purchase? Anything on the channel side of things, you guys are taking initiatives?
So on the channel side, specific to India, yes, Flipkart is one of our biggest partners. They are online only, but we also are working with physical retail channels actively. And in fact, we're growing our presence there, putting more products in points of sales, putting more promoters as well who can guide and help the consumer make the right choice.
So those partnerships are expanding as we talk.
That's correct.
And that is also reflecting in numbers as well. Like we are seeing you guys are growing almost like 3x faster than the category where largely you are catering. For example, in India, roughly like if you look at 1/3 of your sales are between 20 to 30K price tier, which is like normally is a very tricky one, because India is not a like high value market in terms of what the premiumization trend is clearly happening. We have seen some of the rival brands growing in India very fast in the past couple of years. So when it comes to premiumization, there are things that goes beyond certain aspects in the device, and people normally look for a device which is all rounder. You have the elements of brand over there, you have the elements of specification, everything comes into picture. So any particular strategy when it comes to target that premiumization image, because the brand image also comes, and Motorola has a legacy, right? When it comes to that, are you leveraging some of that going forward, apart from the devices what we just spoke?
You know, in our view, the Indian consumer isn't necessarily looking for the lowest price. It's looking for the best value. And that aligns perfectly to what we have always tried to do at Motorola. It's find a really good balance of specifications, features, specs, design, CMF. It has to be the complete package, as well as software experiences moving forward. And so it's that total value that then, gets represented at a specific price point that I think has helped us grow tremendously with our Edge franchise, which is not, our Moto G, which is our value line of products. And to your point, even our Razor franchise has seen very good growth in the Indian market. Because again, they are devices done in the right way with the right balance of all those important elements.
But talking, let's say take example from some of the markets you guys are very dominant, like for example Latin America market or US market. How does this blend regionally when it comes to the customer experiences? What are the kind of differentiated experience you see those are common to a particular section of audience in certain regions versus globally? How do you guys manage it? Because a market like Latin America might be completely different on some aspects as compared to the US versus APAC or some of the European markets maybe. So how do you look into those trends and try to align the products of the future?
So there are some particularities, obviously, in every market, and we do create a global portfolio, and then we do try to do some localization specific to those markets. But there's a very important trend happening right now with consumers, and this is globally applicable. Again, result of the research that we consistently do in all the markets that we operate, and that is that consumers today are primarily capturing, creating, and consuming content on a mobile phone. And so you can imagine for us that translates into putting a lot of emphasis into the camera and into the display experience. Right. And so I'll use the Edge 50 Pro as an example. The camera experiences that we introduced today, all powered by AI. Why? Because it makes sense. AI is a great technology to now put to use on enhancing photo and video capture. The display experience that we introduced today, also in partnership with Pantone. So if you're capturing and creating content on this device, you want to be reassured as a consumer when you see it rendered on this display, it's accurate. It's what I saw. So again, and these are universally applicable. I wouldn't say these are specific to any particular market or not. So there are things that we need to do locally, but I would put more emphasis, to answer your question, on something that I think globally is happening: capturing, creating, consuming content, making sure that our camera and our display are over-indexed in a way for consumers.
Right. So normally consumer pain points are like, if I'm looking at my camera, it doesn't like overly enhancing my picture, or something. What I'm looking is more like real rather than anything else. That
correct.
So I think you mentioned a very important point, like there are some trends that are happening globally, and then you take a regional approach by fine-tuning certain elements of it. One common buzzword is AI. Everyone is talking about it. And you guys mentioned about Moto AI, some really good enhancements over there. And and you are positioning it as intelligence meets art. It's like IA rather than AI. How are you looking? Is this a Motorola specific positioning on AI, or how are you looking the role of AI within these devices? Some of them you mentioned about the cameras, imaging possibilities, but what's beyond that? Consumer would like to know about that.
AI is it's not a buzzword. It's a technology that's here to stay. Every OEM, including Motorola, has to find their own path on how they want to leverage what's accessible. Like I said during my presentation, for us, it's all about taking technology and transforming it into something meaningful for the consumer. AI is just AI. Like megapixels are just megapixels. Like megahertz are megahertz. We need to show what you can do with it. And because of the reasons that I just mentioned, how much content is getting created and captured, that's the start of our journey with AI. The imaging experience on our device.
Imaging is the start of that.
It's the start of the journey. And it's not only the images that you capture. We introduced today a great Gen AI experience, which is Style Sync. So allowing consumers, if they want, take a picture of themselves and personalize their entire device through Gen AI themed wallpapers, colors, and accents on their device. And somebody can do that as many times a day as they want. It takes just a few seconds, and it's an AI powered experience. But again, it's the start of the journey. AI today on this device is also in the background, improving device performance, improving battery, improving display. We don't really talk about that, but AI is there. And for us, it's a journey. It'll continue to evolve on next devices and updates that this device will get as well.
So we are looking forward to the devices. Those are more personalized to our needs and preferences rather than the other way around that used to happen in like past 4 or 5 years.
That makes a lot of sense. The way you put it. If you think about it, this is the most personal device that we all carry with us all the time. And it's personal not only because we carry it with us, it's because it knows where I'm going to be in the next 1 hour, where I'm going to be next month, who my family is, who my contacts are, what messages are coming through. It's all happening on the device. And so, you can imagine that AI should also somehow play a role in becoming more assistive, rather than just me having to go search for all the information that already lives on my device.
Correct. And you highlighted a partnership with Pantone, right? And that is going more deeper this year. How has been the experience so far, or maybe any customer particular preferences or reactions towards that? Obviously, the output is great in terms of colors, but now it is going beyond that, like display and the
Right,
camera.
right. Mhm.
So, anything on that?
So a few years ago, when we started on this journey of growing our brand, we knew, like I said, that the look and feel of our products needed to follow along. It couldn't be a barrier of
Right.
entry for somebody to start considering purchasing a Motorola phone.
Right.
That's why we went and partnered with Pantone. We have the global exclusivity. There's no other OEM that can work with them. And the beauty about working with Pantone is that behind the scenes, they really understand trends in lifestyle and fashion and how that translates into color
Right.
trends. And they know this with months in advance, 6, 12, even 18 months in advance, because they are working with fashion brands, automotive, furniture design, and so on. And so when you and I go into a shopping mall, online or physical, 6 months from now, whether we realize it or not, we are getting influenced by what we're seeing. And color plays a big role in that. And so now we as Motorola have access to that information months in advance. And my team, together with Pantone's teams, decide these are the right colors, textures, finishes that we should be putting on our future devices. And we do that months in advance, and that gives us a tremendous competitive advantage. And so to further answer your question, we have now seen the strategy come to life. We now have 2 years worth of sales data that has proven to us, as well as to our market leaders, I mean our sales leaders inside Motorola, that using color strategically does help us expand our consumer base.
Right.
To do what I'm trying to do from a design point of view, be genderless and be ageless.
Yeah.
Simply by using different colors, materials, and textures, they are now also able to talk to different consumer segments. So that's primarily the reason of working with Pantone. But like you said, there's more. Pantone and the work that we do with Pantone has inadvertently, in a way, allowed our brand to start to appear in lifestyle and fashion media, not only in tech media. And so, now we have exposure of our brand to a whole set of new consumers that are not really tech savvy. They don't buy a phone because of the megapixel, the megahertz, the things we were talking about, or because it has the latest Snapdragon chipset. They buy it because they want a smartphone. They need to fulfill certain needs,
Right.
but because it looks beautiful, it looks trendy, it looks fashionable.
Yeah.
So that has helped us tremendously
Yeah.
as well. Now, the third layer, if I may, yes, Pantone in its origins was a color standards company.
Right.
And so they, over time, have developed a very big expertise in calibrating displays, especially for designers, the graphic, the production industry. Imagine if you are creating something in one part of the world and you want to send it to another part of the world to get it produced, manufactured, you have to have that reassurance that what you're seeing on the screen here is what's going to come out of the production line there. And so they developed this expertise of calibrating and tuning displays to create that accuracy on digital surfaces like displays. And now we tapped into that expertise, and they helped us calibrate both the camera and the display of the Edge 50 Pro. So again, you capture something, you have the reassurance that how I saw it is how it's being shown on the display.
So basically, if I do any e-commerce shopping on Motorola phones, they look exactly the same as they will be delivering to me in a way, like the numbers will be accurately represented, at least the pictures and everything.
You mentioned our partnership, for example, here in India with Flipkart. Just earlier this week, we met with them, and they are also very supportive of our color strategy. And you know what? We ended up reviewing future color proposals directly on the device because that's exactly the color that we were seeing, not on the display they had in their office, which was altering the colors, oversaturating it. No, we ended up reviewing colors directly on the display. And again, just a simple proof point of how in reality it works, and it's very powerful when you actually see what you actually see with your real eyes on a display.
Awesome. Since we are running short of time, it's an interesting conversation. Just one last question. Are we looking this ecosystem of devices expanding in future as well, like in terms of cross linking to others, like we have seen security and like leveraging Lenovo's parent company strength on that? So are we looking?
Oh, absolutely. All our devices today already come with ThinkShield for mobile, which we developed originally off ThinkShield security solutions that they already had and were known for. So that level of security is available to our consumers here. We also collaborated with our counterparts in Lenovo to release Smart Connect, which is the platform I announced today during the event. And what Smart Connect does, it really breaks down the barrier between different operating systems. So now a Windows-based PC or tablet can really talk to an Android-based smartphone. They can share files seamlessly. They can share connectivity. I can take a picture with my device and I can just do copy and paste on my PowerPoint on my PC. It's all connected. The user just doesn't even have to think about anything else than just, okay, moving things, moving content, connecting our his personal ecosystem. So yes, that's an area we will continue to develop.
Thank you, Ruben. It's been engaging conversation. Thanks for all these pointers today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today at Counterpoint Conversation. See you until next time. Thank you so much for joining.